Yes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we've read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, loves, and lots of spoilers. This month, we are doing Halloween scary theme, so we're technically called MangaPod. Did it. I did it, guys.
Yes.
Proud.
Excellent. Nailed it.
This week, to kick off our Spooooooppyyyyyyp month, we are talking about Fort of the Apocalypse, or Apocalypse Notori Day, chapters 24 through 46, aka the entire thing. So this is going to be super spoiler heavy once we get to spoiler section, because we read all of it. So just so y'all know, I freaking love this manga. I love this manga so much. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. But if we could have everybody else introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Dodger, and I am also excited to talk about this manga. This manga that has no pacing whatsoever. I'm so delighted. Let's do this.
My name's Lou. I'm from Lou Talks Anime, and prison school took a turn. I tell you.
I was thinking about that. We read like 2 prison-based manga really quickly after each other.
I didn't even think about that. That's not a theme we usually consider when making the schedule.
You know?
I mean, we just need a schedule of pure prison-based manga. Make it happen, chat. Reddit.com/r/MangaPod. We got a recommendation thread.
Give us your prison. Moeka.
Alrighty. Hello, I am MegaMoeka. I'm a voice actress that streams and likes anime and all that good stuff. And I'm super excited to talk about this manga because I was very surprised and very pleased.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah.
Good. If you guys have never joined us for the MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka a summary that will be read by our wonderful guest, and then we'll give you spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. That way, if it sounds like something you're interested in and you do not want to be spoiled, this is definitely a manga you do not want to be spoiled on, 100%. You can take your leave once we get to spoiler section. Come back and watch the VOD of this on youtube.com/happilyerin. That is also where the first manga pod that we did of Fort of Apocalypse is located. So, Moeka, if you do not mind. Oh, wait. Don't post any spoilers in the chat until we get to spoiler section. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, welcome to Fort of the Apocalypse. Framed and convicted of murder, Yoshiaki Maeda has just arrived at Shoran Academy Juvenile Detention Center. He is placed in Cell 4 and is soon greeted by his fellow inmates, Go Iwakura, Masafumi Yoshioka, and Mitsuru Yamanoi, all of whom have been detained on varying charges and sentences. Already believing life to be laden with misfortunes, Yoshiaki finds, to his dismay, that the prison is in the midst of a violent power struggle. However, things are about to get even worse. Little do the inmates and employees know that the outside world has been thrown into chaos by a sudden zombie apocalypse, and a van carrying infected humans has just crashed into the prison, abruptly introducing them to the undead threat.
Bam.
Yeah.
Good job. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right. Should we do spoiler-free recommendations?
Yeah.
I can go first because, like I said, I love this manga. I started reading it very early on when it first came out, and I kept up with it weekly until it ended. It's really weird. It's very weird. It's a very interesting take on the zombie genre, as well as a very refreshing take, but there's a lot of stuff that, like, you have to suspend your disbelief very far. Not even in terms of what is happening in the world, but in terms of the pacing and how characters do things and, like, traveling at the speed of plot, all sorts of stuff like that. So, but I think it makes up for it in it being really fun, and also at least I really fell in love with the main 4 characters. I love the art. I love the art so much. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons I love it, because I think the art is amazing. So I do have one critique But I'll talk about that later when we get to spoiler section. So.
Okay, I really like the characters in this manga. I think that it has a lot of weaknesses to it, like story-wise, and the way that it paces itself and the way that it like progresses. But I do really like the characters, so it's hard for me to say like I don't recommend this manga because I enjoy reading it. It goes really fast. So I would still recommend it. But I do think that it's a little weak in terms of its storytelling. But I like it. I like it. So yeah, I would recommend it.
All right, I'll go next.
Yeah, go for it.
So I loved the first half of this manga. I remember really thoroughly enjoying it and being super excited to read it for this scary, spoopy MangaPod month thing that we got going on. Was not a fan at all of the second half. Yeah. The story just kind of fell apart. The characters all had that same endearing quality, but didn't do enough to grow beyond that to really keep me invested in what was going on. If you're looking for fun characters in a prison setting, prison school, far superior. If you're looking for a zombie apocalypse manga, I Am a Hero. Those would be my recommendations. Now, if you've read both of those things and you want to see what would happen if they like had a baby, then sure, go ahead and read this manga. It's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Those are my feels.
I take
okay. Me next. I'm gonna have to say I do recommend it. It's short enough to where all the faults I feel aren't that big of a detriment. The cast is fun to where you like them, so I don't know. I feel like you'd still like it anyways, even though it's like, oh, this part of it was pretty bad. But I don't know. I really enjoyed that it was. I mean, when this came out, there was a lot of zombie-related things coming out at the time, so it was kind of oversaturated in that sense. But I don't know, something about the way this manga handled the genre, it had like a nice little fresh spin on the genre, if you will, without being like, I don't know, without it being like super hardcore about it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. So take what we say for what you will. If it sounds like something you're interested in, go and check it out, and then you can come back and watch the VOD of this later. But now we are going to jump into spoiler section. So, countdown, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Maeda's God.
Maeda,
yeah, basically
becomes a god.
Yeah. Basically, that is 100%.
Holy shit! I don't know if it's because. Okay, look, I'm just hopping right in.
No,
I don't know if it's because like the manga goes so fast, but I didn't expect when that chick called and was like, "Hey, I think I can make a cure." I didn't think that they were literally gonna like go there and that was gonna be the end of the manga.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
Oh, we're done.
See, what I was expecting was, all right, they're gonna go there and they're gonna fail miserably because that's typically how these stories go.
Yeah.
Well, especially when she was like fucking trying to blast into his head. Also, what the fuck? She said that she couldn't use her husband's body anymore because all of his organs had like deteriorated.
Yes.
But then they were like, what if we just use those people up there? And I was like, those are definitely advanced F-virus dudes.
Yes.
Why did we need this person who isn't advanced if an advanced F-virus person would totally work? I don't understand.
The whole like, yeah, like he gets at the end, they're like, she goes, oh, I don't have to use Maeda anymore because I have all this brain matter from these guys. And I'm like, wait, but I thought you needed the brain matter from somebody who hasn't completely, I don't know. Yeah. There's so, like, daughter, were you saying there are so many, like, story-wise issues that are so stupid. And, like, I don't know. I just love the characters and how fun and fucking weird this manga is that I overlook them, but I am not above critiquing the fact that there's some really shitty writing happening.
Yeah, but then that brings into question, were these last few chapters so all over the place because of like whatever happened with the publishers?
Yeah.
Because I didn't really like look into it too much, sadly, but from what I saw in like 2014, they were under some company. I don't remember who they were, but then I guess they like stopped publishing the manga, and so then like I think it was like a year later, Kadokawa came in and was like, oh yeah, we'll release the last 15 chapters on our whatever. I don't remember if it was like their app or something or whatever. It was through them essentially. So it makes me wonder if it was just like, well, we're not going to allow you to continue publishing more. We're only going to give you these 15 or whatever chapters. So I'm just, I don't know. I have so many questions I need answers to.
And the thing is that those chapters, as far as I understand it, didn't even complete the story. Like there's a true ending, which is chapter 46.
Yeah, which you have to search for.
Yeah.
Yeah, which wasn't even on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, it was really
I was like,
where are
what
you?
the heck?
And it's such a tease.
I gotta go traipsing around in the deep web for the actual end to this zombie manga.
There's like, it's like, oh, end. And then the next panel it says, for the true ending, it's coming in the end of volume 10. You're like, what? Where are you?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it was something that they had to quickly wrap up everything, because the last part is so fast. It's so quickly paced. I think my big, like there's a lot of stuff that happens. Yeah. So I'm wondering, here, maybe we should move it back to where we left off last time. Because I'm pretty sure we left off at the cliffhanger, right? Where they literally get kicked off.
The cultists had taken over the school, and all of them jumped off the roof.
Yeah, that was the last thing you guys read last time. So, what were your thoughts coming back? Because obviously you're like, what happened? But what were your guys' thoughts coming back?
I think at the end last time we were like, how the fuck are they going to live through this? And I thought it was hilarious that, like, their reasoning was, oh, well, all of the dudes contorted their bodies into flowers and then promptly died. So everyone was fine. I was like, wait, how are you all just standing around and no one's trying to eat you? And then they were like, so they're all dead, huh? And I was like, what?
Well, because Maida or whatever controlled them. That's what I thought happened.
Yeah,
like he controlled them. Yeah. And so he protected them, but not before Glasses Dude met his end.
Right.
One Glasses Dude, not main Glasses Dude.
One of the glasses.
Yeah.
One of
dispensable Glasses Dude from the beginning. So that was where you guys came in last time, or ended last time. So you're coming in. So we have the cultist arc is so stupid to me. Like,
it barely exists.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
I feel like the only reason it exists was so that they could bring in the girl who also does nothing, which is one of my biggest critiques of this whole thing, which is like, I get that there are no girls in the prison, obviously, because it's an all boys detention center. Like, it makes sense why there's no girl. So the first girl, and like we get the lady doctor later, but then like, so the first girl we really see and has a big focus on has no point other than to like suddenly revert back to a girl, like a toddler who sees the dude who can see the future as her father, and he's like, I'm keeping you around because when you get your memory back, I'm gonna kill you. And then later on you're like, wait, what is this relationship? And then you never get anything. Right? You never get any closure later on.
It was so bizarre. She gets like hit in the head with a rock, left to die. All of the dudes are like, you murdered a bunch of our friends, so we're gonna do all sorts of unspeakables. And then see the future guy like trots over, and she's like, Daddy! For the rest of the time, literally all that she does in the manga is walk around aimlessly and call him daddy.
Yeah.
That's all that she
Yeah.
does.
And like get herself, bit.
She gets bit.
Oh
She
my
got
God,
herself
yeah.
bit.
Though it makes
So I guess like as a plot device, she kind of makes sense because specifically for See the Future guy.
to
Because
go.
it's because of her that he is at the end location and he kind of plays into the exposition that goes out. It's weird. I don't know.
He has no reason to be there. He has
Yeah.
no purpose.
There isn't enough of a like his reasoning for being there is so flimsy. Like, oh, well, this girl that I hate, I can't let her die because she thinks she's 5. It's like, what?
Yeah, and also he's able to get there in like
He
one
gets
chapter,
there.
2 chapters.
So fast.
There.
When he showed up the first time I was reading it, I was like so angry because I was like, after everything they had to go through to get there, like what they had to lose, and then he's like, "Hey."
So I thought what happened when he showed up, my instant thought was, oh fuck, she remembers who she is, and she was able to get one of the helicopters that the cultists used.
Oh, that
And
been
they
a
like
lot better.
flew there. I was like, oh shit, oh that's great. So I thought that it was going to be the 2 of them showing up and she was going to be involved in the end, but no.
No.
He on crutches apparently just showed
Yeah,
up.
the crutches. So like his entrance, well, just that chapter had me like, oh my God, what is happening? Because also, long-haired dude walks in and she's like, how did you resist the diabetes or the insulin shock or whatever? And he's like, my dad had diabetes, so I always have rock candy. I was like, what?
Even though I've been in prison.
I was like, what is this stupid thing? I was like, they should have just had it be Go, who is resistant, have it be like some poison or something, and he's resistant because he lived in the jungle with those people. I was like, it should have just been him. Why the rock candy?
Yeah.
Why?
Did we get everybody's backstory on why they were in prison? We didn't get everyone's story, did we?
I don't remember why Maeda was in there. I don't remember at all.
I think it wasn't something where he was like framed.
Yeah,
I think he wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, he like witnessed a murder and yeah, I guess he was just like he witnessed the murder and then I don't know if he stuck around and then decided to like call it in or what exactly, but yeah, they were like, "Oh, you saw it, so you must be the murderer. You're going to juvie, my boy."
Yeah.
My dude.
My dude. Yeah, it was very flimsy. His whole reasoning for being there was very flimsy in the first place. I don't remember, we got
I mean, Mitsuru had the best one where like he killed the social worker to protect his mom,
Right.
who had gone
I
insane.
thought that was a great story.
Yeah, I wanted to hear you
super into
guys'
that.
thoughts on his whole arc and his background and everything.
I thought that I liked it because he was so young in the flashback. And then like them explaining like he's basically just been in juvie for his entire like youth life. I was like, that makes so much sense why he's such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it made a lot of sense after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like that as he was turning, he was like seeing traumatic things, like his brain was providing weird traumas for him to see and experience. I liked that because we didn't really, I'm trying to think, I don't think that we ever got to see like anybody turning like from their perspective until that point, right?
Right. Yeah, because nobody else, because like Maeda got bit, but he is the M or whatever, so he
Right.
doesn't, the M dude, so he doesn't turn like other people. So seeing Newman turn he was like responding like the other undead people. So we got to see what was going on in his brain as he turned. What did you guys think about his death?
I was so sad. I was like, no, I like him.
He went out like a badass though.
He did,
He
dude.
did.
Yeah.
He did. I agree.
Awesome.
I think that's why I liked him. It was like, no, you're so badass. It's not like this.
Yeah, and I liked that there was a little bait and switch in there too, where he like walked up to Maeda and like grabbed him by the throat, but was actually like putting him in the trunk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he hasn't lost himself. Oh, shit.
Because, like, a lot of times when you have a death of the main character, it could be like, it can be very weird where you're like, oh, they just killed him to have a traumatic death happen within it. But for me, I didn't think, his didn't feel like they did something for shock value. Like, it felt like they had it be for his arc, and I, like, really appreciate that. His back, like the part where his mom, where his hands are shaking, and then he has the flashback of his mom helping him, or like sees his mom helping him with the flasher. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And that they keep his glasses.
Oh my god. I was like, no, that he like, the angry boy like took over his parents' arcade and kept Newman's glasses. I was like,
yeah. And that he's the one who gave Newman his nickname.
Yeah.
To him.
Yeah.
How precious you are, boys.
Can I say visually, one of my favorite things was watching the two fucking three-pupiled people like make out and merge into a baby.
Yes, that was great.
I was like, what the fuck? When they like started biting at each other's faces, I was like, what's happening? And then their faces were fusing, and I was like, oh shit.
And they became like a zygote or whatever.
Yeah,
like actually
there
an egg.
was just a circle. I was like, what am I reading?
I think that type of fusion was designed ahead of time as a kind of like reasoning for why their bits aren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, gotta keep this zombie apocalypse manga PG, right?
Yeah.
they kiss a lot, and then they become one organism, and then they turn into lots of
when a
things.
mommy
That's
and a
the
daddy
true
love
way
each other.
babies are born, guys. They merge.
They do the fusion dance
They do the fusion dance.
and become a fetus.
A giant baby. Yeah, that part, that was it. It got so fucking weird. It gets so weird. There is so much weird stuff that happens in this, and like we were talking before we went live, the dogs are still so freaky. Like those show up in the first half of what we read, but then they get a little cameo later when they're all getting to the ship to be with the doctor. We get the dogs again, and the way they're drawn and the sound effects that they are given are just the feeling I get when I see them is the same feeling I get when I see something from, I don't want to spoil it, something from Uzumaki. That is a very similar thing. So if you've read Uzumaki, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's the same feeling I get from those dogs. And I'm just like, oh!
There's like a body horror uncanny valley like feeling that happens in your brain where you're like, you look like a person, but you're not a person, you're a dog.
And your nose is weird.
Yeah.
And the
very unnerving.
Yes. I think one of this, like, because it's a horror manga, I think most of it is like body horror, but there is a few moments in it that I was like, oh, hey there. Where if it'd been a movie or a TV show or an anime, I definitely would have been a little bit startled. Like when they open the emergency exit, I don't know why. That freaked me out because it was just, bam. They were there, and I should have expected somebody to be there, but it still freaked me out just because of the detail and the drawing. The art of it, I think, is what just so creepy. It creeped me out. I'm glad I'm not the only one who was a little startled by that.
Yeah,
this part.
I definitely was. Another scene that had me going, I'm really confused, was because they had like 2 or 3 different chapters where they were just in the car, right? Maybe it was just 2. Where they were just like driving to the lady to bring Maeda to her. That chapter where they saw the flyers that were like, hey, me and mom are at this place, or don't give up, humanity's got this, lol.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they were in a radio station.
Yeah. No, they were in a karaoke bar, weren't they?
Yeah, they needed a break, so
they went and got karaoke.
Yeah.
And then he's.
When the fuck? It felt to me.
It was
maybe
very
I just
weird.
wasn't reading very closely.
No. I totally know where you're coming from.
To me, like they were driving, and then suddenly they were screaming into a microphone, and I was like, "Wait, did they find a radio station? Are they like broadcasting?" And then suddenly they were back in the car, and I was like,
"Yeah, no, they stopped to do karaoke, and the Maeda started playing like some song that made everybody feel very depressed."
I see. Okay.
A song about being alive, and I was like, "Oh no."
Gotcha.
Maeda.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Okay. But no, that whole thing, like you said, the pacing is so bizarre. There's no, like, for as awesome as the art is, there's like no telling when one scene ends and another begins. Sometimes it's very difficult, and I think that's just to the like pacing and the writing. Where you're like,
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's an issue specifically with the latter half, which again makes me question if it's an issue of, okay, well, maybe halfway through they had to change editors, and they have an editor that maybe was under the impression of like, okay, well, we're gonna cancel you guys in 20 chapters, so start wrapping it up.
Speed this shit up.
Yeah. And rather than cutting certain scenes out, they just kind of like, I guess cut details out and just to like streamline the thing. But by doing so, they just made it less readable than it could have been.
Yeah.
So I think it ultimately is not the fault of the talent involved, but like kind of like the general plan, which is something that is more in the purview of what the editor would do. So
yeah, you know how it felt? It felt like when an anime is made and they only have 12 episodes, but the manga is still ongoing. And so they come up with an ending for the anime that feels super out of left field.
Pandora Hearts.
That's how it felt for me.
Yeah,
this feels.
I agree.
If we're drawing anime equivalents, this felt like Angel Beats for me, because Angel Beats was originally a show that was going to be like 24 episodes, and then they told Jun Maeda, "Hey, you have 10 or 12 episodes. Tell your story."
Right.
That one also gets me bitter.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree. That is totally, and like I feel that same way. Even as somebody who really likes this manga, I'm like, that ending, the pacing just gets so weird, because like the first half, the pacing isn't really like that. Like it's still fast, but it still seems like each scene is given the time to play out, whereas in the latter half, it doesn't. Like everything strings together. One thing happens after another.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Best Boy Go?
Go! When I thought he was dead, I was ready to fucking quit that.
Oh, no, me too.
I was like, are you kidding me?
I was like, I can deal with losing my blood on the side, but don't do this.
Well, yeah, because they had him he literally laid down and peeked in the crack.
Yes.
And started sobbing. And I was like, he's dead. Because the only, like, there was no way, in my mind, if he looked and saw a fucking crushed Go under there, there was no way that he, that he lived, right? So I was like, fuck, he's dead. Because he checked in the crack and he was dead. And then when they lifted up the cement thing and he was just like he's like
hanging out,
mostly fine. I was like, what did you see when you looked in that crack?
Yeah. I don't know if he just saw
upset
the arm or what. Like he just saw the arm and so then it was bleeding. I don't know. I agree. I don't know what happened.
I mean, to be fair, that's the right assumption, or I think the fair assumption to make. You know, if you see someone under a giant fucking rock
and you see their arm under it, that you're gonna.
But there was a crack. Lou,
maybe he's through the crack. He saw just like a sliver of him, and so it still looked like he'd been smushed, but one part of him was still perfectly
straight. Just like the top of his hair, and he's like, "Go!"
Listen, he's in love. He loves him, and he just went crazy. Saw a little bit of pain, and he got blinded.
They have a cute apple orchard at the end together.
Yeah, you can't tell me. You can't tell me they do not. They are not a happy old married couple.
No, I
at the end of this manga.
The first thing I thought when I saw the end, I was like, "Is this their love child? Is this a baby? Is that what's going on? Is that why they named him Hero? Like,
right?" But no, he's just a little apple thief.
Yeah,
told us what.
God damn it, Hero.
I did think it was interesting that the true end, that the very end, like, painted a picture of humanity just kind of like going on as mostly normal. Like, kids are able to just walk by areas that have lots of zombies in them and be like, well, those are scary, and just keep moving. I was like, I wouldn't fucking let my kid anywhere near those.
No.
Like, what?
Be like, nah, can we do something with them, not keep them outside and like next to a fence where they can put their hands through?
Right next to the street? There's no team being put together to like make sure that the city that people are in now is like clear.
Yeah, it was though I got very confused, like when the teacher was talking about what had happened and about the apocalypse and everything. And they said the year 2000 is when it happened. I thought he said 2000 years ago. And then he was like, she got the Nobel Peace Prize 2 years ago. And I was like, wait, how old are all these people? Did they also like discover the like secret to youth? I don't understand. And then I went back and reread it. I was a dummy. Yeah, so the true end, well, I agree. I think it was just something that they were told they only had so much time left, but you could definitely see that they had ideas there that they were hoping to build up to. Yeah, I think something I really adore about this manga, and I think why it sticks out to me so much, is how well, when they use the paneling to show the action, how well they do it. Like when Riku is jumping across to go get the booker or whatever, just the way they show him jumping into the water, climbing up, getting to it, and like how everybody is watching and there's no talking or anything is just so cool to me. Just how it's visually appealing because the art is so freaking amazing and detailed, and then also how you can just see it playing out in your mind while it's building the suspense. And so I think that's one of my favorite part is the action of it. The action scenes I think are one of the stronger parts of it.
Yeah. Any of the scenes that were just like towers made up of lots of dudes and stuff like that, I was like, this looks really awesome. Like, this is done really well. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with a manga about eating fat people. Yeah, somebody in chat was like, hey, do you guys know this mangaka started a new manga? I was like, yeah, Erin was all about it.
I'm sold. I'm ready.
It's so weird. I'm trying to think. Yeah, because we had that whole scene where he gets over there and then he cuts up the one Boker lady and then the giant dude comes in. I did think it was interesting, or like seeing how each broker, was it Booker? I don't know. The Bookers.
You called them that.
The Bookers. How
all the boogers.
How they were all different from each other too. I liked that, but they also all just looked really weird as well.
I mean, I liked the design specifically of Dr. Lady's husband.
Yeah.
Just because it stood out so much compared to the other Bokers. Because they all like kind of retained a human element to them. Except for him, where he kind of turned into like a hammerhead shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would have liked a little bit more exploration of the different types of anatomy that Bokers could develop.
I wonder if his was that way, because did she like experiment on him at all? But by the time he was turning like that, I don't know if they explained it. But yeah, it was a very weird that he looked like that when every other thing, they all looked like something out of a Greek play. They were just gorgeous.
Yeah, just like hairless,
Yeah.
weird,
I was
beautiful
also
people.
Yes.
I was wondering, like, how long ago had her husband turned like that? Because was it like a time thing? Was what came across my mind? Because it was like, oh, these other ones are kind of like they're sort of new to this form. So if they were allowed more time, would they have also like changed to some weird looking one like the doctor lady's husband?
See, I think that's a fair guess, but like conversely, they do mention that he does turn after the apocalypse happens, and right up until basically the internet starts to die down is when he basically starts to turn. So maybe he was an early Boker, but I mean that also calls to question the time frame for the changes in the Bokers. So like maybe the others were really close to achieving that point where they mutated like that, or maybe he was just like a variant compared to everyone else.
And sometimes they turn into a zygote.
Yeah. That's sometimes,
little bad.
Little baby. When the baby like suddenly turns his limbs or all the zombies into his limbs and starts crawling over. That was another scene that just kind of irked me when he falls in and they're like, ah ha ha, he fell in, and then all of a sudden it's just behind them. Yeah. I was like, lol, how did they not see this coming? But also if I was there, I would be really freaked out by that.
Yeah, I would be fucking running.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird, the whole like, our brains are melded and now we can have a conversation. It bothered me that like he was talking to a man and a woman. So I was like, oh, it's the man and the woman that did the fusion dance, right? But the man body-wise looked nothing like the man who did the fusion dance. And I was like, is it supposed to be those two people or not?
Yeah. I took it as that they were the two people. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I did have the thought of like, he looks nothing like him, but I just assumed because a male and a female had been the ones to like eat each other's face and then turn into a zygote. I was like, then obviously it's a male. That's the only, but I agree. He didn't look anything like.
But I mean, like, to be fair, I think they wanted that Boker to be like physically intimidating, and that guy did not look physically intimidating.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I guess they wanted to like keep that guy like realistic looking,
Yeah.
Otherwise, if
like
that was his body type
beforehand,
there. Like, yeah, like he's a Joestar. That's what he is.
Joestar.
It was all secretly a JoJo's reference.
Yeah. That's all it was. Isn't every manga and anime a JoJo's reference?
Yes.
It's all it's all Dio.
Yeah.
It's all Dio. It's always Dio.
It's always Dio. Let's talk about art. Like we've been touching on it here and there, but let's give a shout out to it. What are your guys' thoughts on the art?
I liked it. I wasn't expecting it to hold up as well. Again, I was like, oh, it's gonna like it looks all right now, but as it progresses, maybe there'll be like a few weird looking panels, but it was really solid. I was surprised. I don't know. I guess I'm just with zombie like manga because the last one I read was like it was like moe manga basically version of zombie genre. So I don't know. I liked how detailed the building and all that was. Especially especially the creatures, the zombies. I really liked them. I was happily surprised. Also, I was also thinking of Uzumaki at a few times. I was like, ooh, this is throwing me off. I don't like staring at this weird dog thing.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. I don't know. I was like super surprised because when I flipped the page, that's not what I was expecting. They're so creepy and like hideous looking.
They're horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I love the designs of all of the zombies. I think the designs of the dudes are like pretty basic, but like yeah, the zombies wind up looking very uncomfortable. Like they make me uncomfortable if I look at them for too long. So they did their job, absolutely. But I think the art is super clean. Like I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll agree with that. I think it's the strongest point of this manga is what it's able to convey visually, and just a general presentation of it. Like, I don't feel like they went too heavy-handed with screen tones. There wasn't a lot of variety in perspective, but you always had a sense of what was going on, at least within that specific panel. The only time we really got lost was from when we were going over the course of many panels, where that's more of a pacing issue than an art issue, I would say.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, the character designs were pretty standard, but everything looks solid.
I think something that the artist is really good at, in my opinion, is expression, facial expressions. Like, we see a lot of people being scared, obviously, and there's a lot of the same, like, oh my god, we're fucked face. But I still thought that they did a really good job at expressing and, like, having those facial expressions bring out and set the mood for what they were wanting, and that they were really detailed. So they never felt flat, I guess, is how I felt. So, like, when Maeda was terrified about Go being dead, like, you could see that. And, like, Go's face when he realizes what he's about to do is just like, I love that face so much. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But the face of where he looks at Maeda before he knocks him out and then tries and goes take on the dude by himself. And so I just think that they're really good at expression, and that was something I appreciated, especially when you have so much detail going into the zombies. Having the human characters being just as, like, visually expressive, I think is really important, so they don't just they don't blend in or anything. So I really like that. But I loved the detail that went into the zombies, like you guys said as well. Like, they all felt very varied. Like, there was always something different about them, even in a big crowd. It didn't feel like they were just copying and pasted. It was like they went in and they made sure each zombie looked a little bit different, or two zombies that looked similar weren't standing next to each other. So I think that, like, from an artistic standpoint, it was very creative and intelligently thought out. Oh, sorry. My favorite part of this whole section of reading we have to talk about is when they find out that Maeda's dick is huge. It's so good.
I mean, it must have been a zombie mutation, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Not have been.
And it makes it even sadder because if he keeps becoming a booker, then he's gonna lose it.
He's gonna disappear.
That's what
it's gonna be like
if y'all
greatest tragedy.
If y'all haven't read it, the scene that is in Yoku's placeholder is them finding out that Maeda has a giant dick. So.
Ding dong, if you will.
Yeah. a big old wiener. Yeah, because they're checking to see whether or not his virus has progressed
to him not having one.
To him not having one anymore.
I guess we should clarify why they're doing it.
Yeah. No, they just want to look at it.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they would like to bring up? Otherwise, we'll do final thoughts and ratings.
I don't think so.
I'm kind of sad that I don't know. I'm kind of sad that Masafumi Yoshioka, I don't know which one you guys prefer. But yeah, I'm sad Masafumi like went off on his own.
Right?
I was like, no. Stay with the group. What are you doing? I just wanted to shake him. But I was happy to see that he was like running an arcade.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, in memory of his like mom.
Man.
Yeah.
What does he look like? And they never show
his face. I also did not like that we never get in the true ending. We never see anything about the daddy-daughter duo or the daddy-son. Like, we never get like refresher on them. The only thing we see about the doctor is that she got a Nobel Peace Prize. her character arc, we didn't really talk about her, but her character arc was really flimsy to me. Like, I didn't even know as a character. She was all over the place. Like, she was just like, her personality was what it needed to be for the scene, is what it felt like.
I feel like what really would have set her off or would have made her a standout character would have been if they would have taken a little bit more time in that little, like, almost dissection scene and given her an opportunity to really, like, start to cut into them and explore the gory aspect of what she needed to do.
Yeah.
But I feel, in other words, that intervention really, like, cut the legs out from under her character.
Or if
I picked up on that pun.
If we had seen her get to a point where where we got to see her have to mutilate her husband too.
Yes.
I think that would have like that sounds terrible, but I think that would have added a lot of depth. If she was like pushed to a point where she had to do that and still didn't have what she needed, like that would have added so much to like her desperation to find somebody else, right? Like I can't have done this to my husband for nothing, sort of a thing. But in the end, it was just like, well, I chopped him up into bits and I put them all into jars. It's like, okay.
Like, oh,
deserve him. Get the Ziploc bags out.
Ziploc bags. Oh my goodness. All right, final thoughts and ratings. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Do it, Lou.
All right. Get the negativity out of the way. So I won't go as far as saying that I'm a fan of the zombie apocalypse genre, but I have consumed a lot of media pertaining to that genre because there's just so much of it available, and I've seen this similar scenarios done way worse than this manga, but I've also seen several that have done it better. This at no point in this manga did they really depict the struggling to find resource thing, which is basically a trope in the genre. Maybe that wasn't really necessary because everything happened so fast relative to the apocalypse happening. But I don't know, it's just storytelling wise, I feel like if they would have had the opportunity to flesh things out, it really had the potential to be something really great and interesting. And unfortunately, it wasn't. And it, like, don't get me wrong, the art, like we mentioned, was great. It really carried this manga. I don't think I wouldn't have been able to continue the manga if the art wasn't as good as it was. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. That's a drop of like maybe 2.5 points from the last time I read it. So it is a substantial drop from the midpoint towards the end for me. And that's it.
Sweet. I'll go next. I can't remember what I rated it last time. And I think critically, I might have to do the critically versus enjoyment thing. Critically, there is so much wrong. So much stuff that has issues within this manga in terms of the pacing, and like they might have been cut short. So they had to shove a lot of scenes, and so those scenes weren't able to have the impact that they otherwise would have carried, or like the same with certain characters. So the storytelling was pretty weak in the latter half. The first half, I thought it was pretty strong, and then it went downhill. So I do wish it had been a little bit longer to have time to explore and pace itself a little bit better. But I loved the zombies. I loved how freaky they were. The art, I loved it so much. I liked the action and how it was paced. I really loved the characters. And I loved how they interacted in their story arcs. The four main characters. The rest I could care less about. But yeah, and so that kind of carried it for me, was the art and the characters, loving them so much. And so I think critically it would probably be like a 6.5. But enjoyment level, I think it'd be an 8.5 to a 9. Because I loved it. I recommend it to people. I got super into it. And I don't take back my enjoyment or feel ashamed of it. So.
You shouldn't.
And my OTP has an apple orchard.
At the end. So really, like, it all worked out.
So I win overall.
Dude, yeah, that was a fantastic way for it to end for me. I was like, oh, stop. He's got a little goatee and an apple orchard. Yeah, I was planning on giving this a 7 because it goes by so fast, and I do enjoy it for the most part, despite like its glaring issues story-wise. And the characters are great, and the art is pretty awesome. And some of the zombies freak me out, which they should in a zombie story. So in terms of that, it works out great. So yeah, I think I would give it a 7. I would still definitely recommend it.
For me, I wasn't here last time, so I'll start off by saying if I had only read that first half that you guys did for the first episode, I would have given it a 7.5, honestly. But now that I've read it and I've seen how it ends, I'm gonna have to say a 7. Like, I don't know. I really enjoyed the characters, and I was genuinely freaked out by like the zombies and how they were drawn, which I can't. For a lot of other like zombie genre stuff, like they don't always get me like that. So that's why I'm gonna give it a solid 7 still. Awesome. Otherwise, I think I would give it a 6.5 if I was being really critical. Yeah. But enjoyment for me, I think, wins a little bit more still in this case.
Awesome. Did you guys, since we've been talking about how like we really love the characters, but the story is kind of did you guys ever see that tweet where it was like when canon sucks, but you really love the characters, and it was a picture of AutoZone, but T and O were like broken, and so it just said AU Zone.
Yeah,
one of my favorite tweets in recent memory.
Too real.
I just felt it related to this conversation. All right, so that wraps up our discussion of Fort of Apocalypse, Apocalypse Notoriety, whichever you would like to title it. So I'm going to read the description of the manga that we are reading next week, and y'all in chat gets to guess. And remember, this is currently Spoopy month, so it's gonna be scary. All right. Blank has a family, a wife, and 2 kids, none of which care about him. When he learns that he has only 3 months to live, he realizes that the only one who will miss him is his blank. Shortly after this realization, he is blanked in a blank landing by blanks. He is rebuilt by them as a blank with a human exterior. How will his life change now that he isn't blank?
It's really hard to continue raising your eyebrows.
Yeah, you get like
after a while,
it, like,
you start to overthink it in a way, and like the pacing gets like off, and then
Kaylee has been doing this thing where she'll just look at you and go, it's like so weird, and she's so happy about it. Like she'll finish doing it and just like grin, but she's like, and you're like, what are you
honestly doing? The best part of Kaylee is that she's expressive to the point of ridiculousness. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I wonder where she gets that from.
Yeah, where could she possibly get that from?
All right, here's a hint, guys. It has an anime that's going to be airing this season. Like, we're doing our show maybe a few days before or after it airs.
Be soon.
Oh my gosh, MegaMoeka, thank you so much for subscribing. I was like, enjoy
it's almost Inuyasha, but it's not.
This is very subtle, Erin. Very, very subtle.
That was really good. That was good. I liked it.
Is Boruto's dad?
It is Boruto's dad.
Reading Boruto's dad. No, not really.
Is anyone gonna? Nope.
They're trying.
Trying their best. That's all that matters.
We'll give you another 10 seconds. By that I mean 5 seconds. 1. Yeah! Yeah!
Nice job.
Good job. So that is what we are discussing next week. Let me get to the page so I know how much. We will be discussing volumes 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 31. So we hope that you guys can join us for that. It would be super awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go around and shout out our stuff super fast. I'm Erin of Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel where all the previous manga pods are hosted. That's basically everything, the only thing that's been going up on there recently. But they're all really fun and awesome, so you should definitely go and check them out if you've read the manga that we discussed there. Otherwise, I have all of my previous anime reviews, anime first impressions, mental health awareness videos, all of that stuff is there. I'm kind of taking a break from YouTube because I'm working on a novel, so I'm doing that thing. If you want to find me on any other social media site, I am Happily Erin all across the everything. I'm much more social. I'm much more active on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. So if you, especially if you have something to talk about Lance from Voltron, if you want to come do that with me, I would totally do that with you.
Winka winka.
Winka, 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 winka.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger. You can find me at DexBonus on pretty much everything, and twitch.tv/DexBonus might be where you're watching this right now. Also, youtube.com/pressheart-to-continue. I promise it's not dead. Stuff will go up there eventually. Also, I'm launching a coffee line, and you can find it at DodgerCoffeeCo.com.
Dodger Lance Co.
DodgerLanceCo.com.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
We got whole
interrupt your
beans,
spiel.
we've got pre-ground beans, and we've got cold brew, and it's all delicious. IMO.
It's
So
good.
maybe check it out if you like coffee.
And if you guys have pre-ordered, you bottle might have been bottled by me.
It's true. Very
Yeah.
true.
I bottled some.
My bottles better be
Erin bottled.
Erin,
bottled.
yeah, Erin wrapped and approved.
My name's Lou. And I'm from the Tux Anime. I don't have a coffee line, but I fully endorse and support Dodger's coffee line. Go to Dodger Coffee Co. If you want to talk anime bullshit with me, just Lou Talks Anime, basically everywhere. So yeah, especially Twitter. Talk to me on Twitter. It's fun. And I guess I'll see you guys next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, is that us?
Yeah,
That's
that was
you,
a very
girl.
like.
That's you, girl.
you.
It's you, girl.
segue.
Your time.
Ooh, hello, I'm MegaMoeka. I am a voice actress. You can find me mostly on Twitter. I'm very active there. On occasion, I upload to my YouTube. You can it's always going to be MegaMoeka most likely. If not, you can double check by going to www.megamoeka.com and you'll find all my links there. But yeah, I think Twitter and Twitch right now are mainly where you can find me and interact with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, anytime.
Yay.
Like, if you don't have a guest, just be like, yo, you have 12 hours, read this and this, and I'll do it.
Awesome. You are lovely as always. We really appreciate it. And thank you all so much on Twitch and YouTube. If you're watching this live, if you're watching the VOD of it, thank you so much. We also really appreciate that. If you guys would like more MangaPod, we have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/MangaPod. You can see the schedule for the upcoming weeks all the way through the end of December. And you can also see a recommendation thread there. If there is a manga that you would like to see us discuss, you can go ahead and post it there. Or if it's already posted, you can upvote people who've posted it, and we will hopefully try and fit it. We will do our best to fit it in to the schedule. We promise. We promise we're doing our best when we're doing those schedules. Otherwise, we will be here same time, same place next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, talking Inuyashiki. How do you say it?
Inuyashiki.
Inuyashiki. Volumes 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 31. So we hope you guys can join us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.
Dodger Coffee Co.